Stick around after. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here and welcome to Focus on Wellness in 2021. I'm Brianna, and today I have our guest, Janae, with us as well, who we work on the warm line for PRN. And it's been such a wonderful experience to get to know everyone, and I'm so excited for her to be able to share a little bit about her journey and what's going on in her life right now as we're thinking about wellness and thriving in the face of adversity and turning our pain into purpose. So the warm line numbers on the bottom, as always, it's a 24/7 line. Feel free to give us a call for any emotional support. Also, check out our calendar. We have tons of wonderful classes going on all day long. So without further ado, I'll introduce my guest. Hi, Janae. How are you?
I'm doing well today. I'm a little nervous, so but yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm hanging in there.
Nerves are totally natural. And being on a screen like this, right? It's sometimes a lot happening. But I'm so grateful that you're here. If you want to just share with us, what is going on in your world. And you've recently got an award. That's exciting.
Yes, it's called the Youth Voice Award. I was nominated, and to be honest, like I said, I didn't think I was going to get it until somebody explained what the award meant and what it is. And so, first, I want to go through the process a little bit. Someone has to nominate you. And so I had my mentor, she told me about it, and I kind of nominated myself, and I had someone else, just nominate me. And I told them my achievements and stuff like that. And I didn't really think what I did was important. I only say that because I was trying to survive, and I felt like I had to do those things. But once I understood what the award meant, like when I found out I won, I said, oh my gosh, there's so much more valuable people. But they said this award is for people, one, who help and, change their community through their story, people who, like the topic today, fought through adversity and did so many things. And I guess because I'm living it I'm just like, well, what else was I supposed to do? But I never know how far I came. Sometimes it takes someone telling me, but that's what the award means. It's like people who have had, circumstances that could just knock someone out and can't get back up. But because, you fought those challenges, you became a trailblazer, you changed your life for the better. That is what the Youth Voice Award is. And so I'm happy that I, accepted it. I was shocked, but when I understood that, I said, okay, then I can truly accept it then.
Absolutely. You are so deserving of that. And it is incredible. And I can only imagine, all of the emotional experiences that were coming up for you to hear that, you won this, because it's so easy for us to look at others and be like, oh, but this or that, like, why me? But to be like, worked hard for this. Is this a national award? How does this, I don't
know that I know it's from North Carolina. I know
cool.
it takes place in North Carolina. I guess to really understand it, you would just have to Google like Youth Voice Award. That's as much as I know. I don't know if it's a national award, but I know that I fit in the category for the youth. They also have a category for adults, who also exceeded like adversity in their circumstances and are making change and just really shaking the world.
Yeah, well, I think, what was coming up is really it doesn't matter if it's national or not. It's kind of like this universal award of like another human being that's overcome and triumphed. And like you said, was a trailblazer despite everything. Now, this is your second time on here. And I know we kind of talked a little bit about your story before. When we think about, what is our purpose, our vision, goal, and plan for the life that we want to live, especially when we've had, struggles. Like, what is that kind of, given your lived experience, and where you're at and seeing all of these new doors open, like what comes to mind, like when you're thinking about these sort of things?
So ever since I was young, because I've been in the hospital like 12 times. I was in the upstate hospital. I went twice probably between 10 and my teenage years. I've been in Moses Cone Behavioral Health probably 11 or 12 times. They basically raised me. I went from the children's ward all the way to I never got to the adult ward, but they even put me on the um, teenage ward early because I was so mature and stuff for my age, and they just watched me grow. And I knew that listening to the kids' stories and the teenage stories, I knew that none of us were supposed to be here. People, their at home situations were just terrible. I said, this is vacation for us. We get to sleep. We don't have to worry about anyone crawling on top of us or abusing us. We get peace. But I think the thing that made us sad is we had to go back. I remember some children actually just staying there just so they could not, escape abuse. I remember even hospital staff in upstate knew that, one girl acted out just so she could come back because this was the only place she felt safe. So when I was young, I thought I wanted to be a social worker, even at that age, or a designer because I was on many medications and it really blew up my body. And I'm a young girl and I'm already overly developed, so I can't wear children's clothes, but I can't wear these clothes either. So I said, well, I knew that I wanted to make change. I knew that I'm going to make a category that people feel welcome, that they don't have to feel down or feel like I'm feeling. But once I did college and I saw the paperwork and I knew I was going to be behind a desk, I said, this is the life for me. I want to be out in the trenches. I want to be on the field. I want to change people's lives and be a part of that process. And that's how I knew that when I started the peer support journey, that this was the job that was always meant for me. I just didn't know it was real, And so now that I'm here and I'm realizing my role is changing, not as I'm now not a patient anymore, but I'm becoming an advocate. I'm becoming a staff person. I'm becoming a person who knows both sides and can actually make change and listen to people and help and not be biased, but just give a real opinion. And the doors that are opening, it shocks me because I have this doubt and this fear. I'm like, well, am I good enough? Will I make a mistake? Because I've seen people who had power abuse it. Because I've been in the mental health system, I've seen group homes, I've seen people who are supposed to help me, but they used my story and took advantage of it, you know, and I still went without. So I knew that, I didn't want to turn into those type of people. If I'm going to do it, I want to make change. If I'm not capable, I want to be able to say that. So to be able to be put in this position and be able to humble myself and really listen to people and help people, that lets me know that I'm on the right path. Professionally, I feel like this is what I was always meant to do. Personally, it gives me great hope to do that, knowing that I can help someone with my story. So I do believe this was what I was meant to do. I think this was my calling altogether, to help all people, no matter what age. Even if it's in the background or behind the scenes, I think I was meant to do this.
Absolutely. And you've been working towards this, for, like you said, your whole life. You had this seed that knew that you wanted to contribute in this way that could, empower others, give voice to others and yourself in a way that would, shape the world in a more aligned way that isn't that sort of, power dynamic issue that you talked about earlier. And yeah, I think it's absolutely incredible. And you've had even as you shared, just being a child and going through hospitalizations and all of that, and that's, yeah, it had to be terrifying at times. So yeah, to see all of these different things that you've overcome in your journey and to be in this place of like, this is exactly where I want to be and what I'm, striving forward and those doors opening. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm scared but excited, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like heavy. Like this is amazing. This is awesome. But then I'm like I'm still in shock.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that kind of leads into like another thing, like when we think about wellness and, all of those different dimensions that we've got, our 8 dimensions is what we kind of go by. And a lot of the peer models and stuff are built on that, our spiritual, our emotional, intellectual, physical, social, environmental, financial. We know, those things are important for us to be well. And so, yeah, going back to, when things naturally you have some anxiety and there are life stresses, what have you learned along the way in your journey of like, different habits and coping strategies that help you when those, old fears and those voices and very real experiences like flashbacks and things like that happen? What are some of the things that now in your life that you try to nurture?
Well, ultimately, I try to love myself.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, that is this thing that I had to learn is to love myself and learn to like. There have been times where I felt like I have been on the go, and I would see like I know we were talking earlier about seeing our younger selves, and I had to real. I sometimes I don't like to, but I think of myself as a bad person for some reason because that's what I was always told. I was
We
told
internalize that.
right. And so I remember seeing myself, I'm sitting over here hungry, and I can see my little self being so patient and be like, I know you're trying to do something right now, so I can wait. And I said, oh my gosh, myself is so beautiful because she's so patient and she's so hungry, but we're going to stick it out and we're going to get something to eat. The coping skills that I use now is to love myself. Like, even though right now I feel like my body is so heavy, but I feel like I feel the excitement as a child to decorate because I love to decorate. I said when I'm 60 and able to retire, I'm definitely going to be a stylist or an interior designer because I love doing that. That I've never stayed away from decorating or designing. That's something I love to do. Um, but I owe that to myself, to create the place that I've always wanted to be and see that and know that I've made that. And so I try to incorporate that like traditions. I love to do traditions. Whether it's like on Christmas making breakfast and then opening gifts or, cooking dinner way before and just spending the whole day just relaxing and not doing anything because nothing's open. There's plenty of stuff on TV. I think creating a nice environment for myself, something that's cool and calm. Like if I don't have money enough to go to a hotel just to have a safe place, I can always, my bedroom is created. I've set up stuff like in a feng shui type thing that is set up like a hotel so that even if I can't physically go to one, I got one at home. So I always try to make sure that I'm comfortable. I try to make sure that I have all the snacks and food that I want in the house. Like I really don't try to diet. I say if my body wants it, she gonna get it because she deserves it. She wants to get pizza. If she wants to eat junk all day, she can eat junk all day. It whatever she wants, she's going to get if it's capable. So that's something that I try to incorporate. I try to help others and love others. That's something that I like to do. I like to spend time with people. I like to reach out and help them feel as great as how I'm feeling, just to lift them up. So that's stuff that I like to do for my self care. Whether it's just laying down, making my room cool. Like right now, I had my blinds open, and it's been so long since I've had them open because I like nature. So the fact that I have them open because when I started my recovery journey for PTSD, I felt, ashamed. So I kept my blinds closed because I didn't want anyone to see what I was going through. And I would close my door and I would make sure it's dark so no one would see. But the fact that I got it open, it must mean that, I'm ready to just, be open again and just let the light shine and just, see nature. So it's like, those are things that I like to do. I'm a big comfort person. So anyone who knows me knows that I'm always gonna make myself comfortable. I'm always gonna get myself what I need. So
I
it's
love that. Yeah, because that's one of the most important things that we learn. And that, I mean, all of those things you shared are so important and totally resonate. I mean, one, absolutely, like putting the love back in. Like that can be hard when we first start on our journey because, again, we've internalized so much. We've put so much above us and we've been in this disempowered position that yeah, things just look and feel different. And it can be really hard to be like, I am deserving of this love. I can love myself and this feel good. And I just loved how you said it. Like, I was like, yeah, because absolutely. Like, and you're radiating that. And I hear so much like, self-compassion and conviction and what you're saying of like, as we go through the process, of healing and reclaiming ourselves, it's just so important to have grace and to redefine, what feels good for us. And that environmental piece you talked about, our environmental wellness, how we set up our space. I know you and I have talked before about being, going through childhood adversities and traumas and, not having the stability of a stable home, a home base, and that changing so much. And so this is like new too, right? Being able to have a space that is yours. And I love that. Yeah. Like, making it comfortable. Like before we started this, I've got, yeah, my windows are open. I've got an incense going, a little candle over here, my water, like, my pillows and, whatever else. I don't have a stress ball. Occasionally I might grab my cat toy or something anything if I need that, if I get a little anxious. But yeah, like that is, I love that. Like you said, letting the light in and reflecting and seeing like where you've been and where you are, that's like proof, right? Like, that work is like showing, like you're able to like, enjoy that and name that and claim that. And, if, things you have a hard day, like we're in life, that happens, your resources now, are better, right? I imagine than what they were before.
definitely. I go to a support group every Tuesday. I didn't get to go this time, which sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't get to go this time, which I'm kind of sad about. But I go to that support group every Tuesday.
What is the support group?
It's a sexual assault and child abuse support group by Family Service of the Piedmont. It's in Jamestown, but we do it on Zoom. Men and women are welcome, and it's so important to me that I like really take in what they're giving me because my story is heard. I feel comfortable. I feel not judged for like this stuff that I like. I learned behaviors. Like just going through that, I've healed so much. Going through that, my relationships are better. I understand how to communicate better now instead of shutting out because that's something that I couldn't do before. I would change my number, I would just go ghost. And I didn't realize that people who actually loved me actually do love me. I didn't know what that is because I don't know good when I see it, because I was raised around so much bad and I thought bad was normal, but it's not, so that's one of my supports. I go to, I do therapy. I love my therapist. She's so honest. I've always loved my therapist. So that I have my natural supports. Charnette. She's like, I call her my foster mom. Um, I have, some supports here where I live. I have church that I really love going to. And I have my biological mom. We're trying to bond and get a better relationship. Me and my sister, my younger sister, we didn't have the best relationship, but now we tell each other, I love you. We have more of a comforting relationship now. We don't judge each other. We respect each other's boundaries. And that brings me such joy because I never would have thought that I could have such a community behind me. And I was thinking it really does take a village to raise one person. So I'm like, if it takes a village to raise one child, it must take the whole world to, raise a group of people. It takes a lot. And so I would really like to see a lot of people come together as a community and like really nurture each other and just meet each other where they're at. Cause I think it takes a community to raise a person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's this proverb because I do
Hi,
like,
Eric.
yeah, there's like, I love anime and I love the Japanese culture. And so there was this proverb that I don't know who said it. It was a quote, but it was like, a child who is not, embraced or loved by their village will turn right back around and burn it down. And if that's not the truth, that's truth because I harbored so much hatred, so much bitterness. I used to be envy and jealous of people who had communities and relationships, but I didn't know that I was better off by myself, but I still wanted that acceptance, that companionship. I wanted those things. And I'm learning that the way that I tried to get those things was wrong. But now that I am healing and I'm getting a better mind space and I have these supports that actually show me what love and what acceptance, what that is, I'm a lot better. I'm a better person than I was before.
Yeah, no, I love all of those sentiments and reflections that you shared because it absolutely takes a village to help heal a community and healthy supports and relationships in our lives to be able to reflect back the good in us, to help us in a way to grow and become better people, not through coercion or whatever else, just like seeing that good, nurturing that. And through that, we have these self-discoveries to blossom and to realize like, oh, like this is the kind of, support and relationships I want in my life. And you touched on so many, support group. And you're totally all good with that. Don't even stress. Technology and screens, right? Am I right? But yeah, like support groups, a space that is other people being able to relate and share and hold space for your feelings that get it. So important, therapy. Absolutely important, especially from a trauma-informed like perspective. I was like, I've had a very busy month myself, and Eric says, that sounds so awesome. You sound like you're on a good track and your journey is going to be beautiful. Absolutely. But yeah, I was like so excited to go to therapy on this past Tuesday. I was like, yes, like I need this. There's some stuff, and it always is. The work isn't always easy, but it's worth it. Our spiritual, our faith or our spirituality, like how we connect to something that's greater than us, that sense of community is so important. That gives us strength to keep going. And, you reflected on like a proverb and just like beautiful wisdom teachings that are, in these spaces that can give us, that courage and, fiery hope and purpose in life. And so many really good things, and family dynamics shifting and changing, and that can be a really hard one. So it sounds like, there are so many wonderful transitions and, occupationally, like you said, doing all this hard work. You're, working on the warm line, is a beautiful experience. It's not always easy either. And, but yeah, because that's, a more aligned with, what you want to be doing. I hear a lot of gratitude and excitement, despite, some normal, human anxiety and nerves that happen there. And your award, like, whoa.
Yeah, I will say that the warm line has definitely helped me grow in so many places. Like spiritually, it's helped me grow. I feel like mentally, it's helped me grow. As a person, it's helped me grow because I am learning that I'm being a servant. I'm providing a service, and it's not about me. It's about them. And sometimes when I talk to someone on the warm line, we end up helping each other, and we're like,
mutuality, right?
yeah. I'm always grateful, and I learn so much because the dynamic, there's different cultures, there's different races, there's different ages, and because of that, I have particulars that I love to talk to because they're older, and because I learned so much about different generations and different what's the word, just different eras of time. It's such an enjoyment to for them to give me wisdom because I'm young, and now I'm trying to change my perspective to see that as a great thing because I still have so much to learn. I used to feel like my life was ending, even though people say you're so young, and I was like, well, it don't feel. I feel like my life is coming to an end, but I feel like now I can see my life is coming to a new beginning. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do really enjoy this job and meeting so many different people and learning so much. It's really a joy, especially during COVID, because people have to travel to get this type of experience, but now I can just get it from home. So it's an amazing thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really important in light of the last year plus, and that sort of accessibility, and it is another place of community, and again, like being able to be authentically human with each other, and to share and listen and learn from one another. Like you said, I think that's one of my favorite parts of the warm line and what we do too, is that shared piece, and being able to reflect on other people's experiences and meanings, because there are, again, and I'm thinking about like even when you were saying like times where you felt like you weren't going to make it, and how real like those feelings can be, and those struggles. And I like thinking in terms of metaphors and symbolisms. And in an earlier class with Caroline from the Alternatives to Suicide program, we talked about that too, of, sometimes, it be an expression that something else needs to transform and be let go of. And that's why it's, hurting. But again, we internalize so much pain, and depending on where we are in the journey, if we haven't had a community to be able to reflect those things back to us, we can be like, well, I'm obviously the problem, when it's so much more complex and dynamic than that. But yeah, like, being able to see that things can change, and change doesn't have to be bad. We're, again, more empowered. We have more skills and knowledge now. We know what our boundaries are now. And that's a big one in the journey. I don't know about for you, but that's one that's like, been really important when learning how to say no, and that not be like something that needs to come with any guilt or anxiety. Like if we're centered in our heart and we know like we're honoring, again, our needs and our well-being, like that's important, right?
Right. That's so true. It was hard for me to sit down because today I have not sat down in such a long time and actually listened to myself. I have been on the go saying I need to get so many things done. And just when I thought about, like, I want to decorate, I want to do this, I want to be better, I want to be better, I want to be better. And something's just like, when are you're already better? When are you gonna just sit down? Like, I'm looking over here and I'm comparing myself and I'm looking over there and I'm like, am I still on the path that I want to be? And at some point it became more about achievements instead of being personalized. Like, I don't think I've taken the time to look in the mirror and just really love myself for where I'm at, because stuff has just been so bad for me lately. Like, I've just haven't given myself time. And I think,
Mhm.
during these, while my body cannot move because of this shot, I think I'm definitely going to sit down and just love myself. And when I'm capable, go outside, breathe some air, and just do things that I want to do and not worry about the outcome. I
Mhm.
It's like I've been trying to play catch up, and I can't. There's nothing for me to catch up with. I can only do so much. I can only do what I'm capable of. And like you said, I had to learn that it's not my fault. I think these flashbacks are telling me, because I really didn't know how bad I lived. I didn't know how bad my abuse was, because like I said, they told me it was normal. There's this thing in my culture that if I went through it, you can get through it. Or they don't want you to be better. They just want you to, like, suffer the way they suffer because it makes you a better person. And I had to learn that that's some bullshit. Excuse my
Yes.
bullshit. I'm like, wait a minute. No, I don't want to go through this. I spent time fighting and trying to protect myself and just trying to, like, live a life. And I'm learning that my me myself is enough. Whatever I want, like you said, is inside of me. And I think that's the most prominent lesson that I'm learning right now, is the things that I want are inside of me. Like, I don't have to rush it. I don't have to have a time frame for it. It's going to happen when it happens. But right now I can enjoy the moment and not worry about what's going to happen next, because I can't change what happens next, but I can change what happens right now. So
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things, how we meet the moment. And we had a few people from the Warm Lung team. Eric was in here, Kim Porter. And when you were talking about that self-love, I mean, they were sort of echoing that sentiment of how important it is. And yeah, taking the time to care for ourselves is essential. And, our bodies, carry so much wisdom, and coming home in our bodies can feel very different and strange when we've been through a lot of trauma, and been in states of survival or disassociation, or lots of other things that I know many of us have experienced, but to tap in and to just be aware of, like, okay, I'm feeling exhausted. Like, I haven't been able to give myself a pause. I've been go, 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 like doing, because, I like to do that too, but it's kind of taken a toll on me. And so I'm so grateful that, we're able to take a pause here with each other today, and that you're sharing all of those reflections as well, of noticing, again, when we're talking about those healthy habits and coping strategies, like seeing, like, I need to slow down a little bit. I need to let my body rest. I need to be gentle. That's what it's calling for right now. And yeah,
definitely. I'm
I've been,
hugging this pillow. This is
I love it.
Yeah, this is actually like my body. I sleep with it every night, and so what
Is it
I
one of the squishy ones?
it kind of is squishy. What I do is I wrap myself in it, so it always feels like I'm getting a hug. And I said, if I ever get a weight blanket, I don't think I'll ever leave the house. I always hug it, even at night. I'm wrapped around it like an octopus. So I was
Yeah.
shocked it worked its way up in here. So I said, well, maybe I just need the comfort, because it
Yes.
I didn't realize that I'm actually really vulnerable and open right now, and I'm
Mhm.
just letting myself be free, like just be open and letting like my insides breathe, or just having that breeze. So I said, okay, I'm just cut open right now, and I'm just letting everything just flow out and come out, and just give myself that time.
Yeah. It's so important. It's so important. And the power of, that touch and with our senses, because a lot of times when we get heightened, or if we're talking about like, personal things or just, whatever, like, again, like our body is like responding one way. So when we have something that we can, give us a little comfort, hold a pillow, hug ourselves. I do that a lot, especially being single and, alone. It's like, I have to be like, hey, me, like, you
Right.
need a hug or, curl up in a little ball or, our last class, Julie Johnson was sharing a few practices we could do, even just like rubbing our hands together, feeling that sensation, feeling our bodies like where they're at right now, sitting in our chair on the floor, that sense of groundedness, or feeling of groundedness is like, so important. And again, that's the power of meeting ourselves in that present moment, and really kind of checking in, because we get so used to, especially in this fast-paced world, to be disconnected in that way. So it's a really powerful act to be like, well, what do I need, now in this moment, and seeing how that flows, and it can look totally different throughout the day. So, yeah, I was thinking too. I had this quote. From this Indian author activist. She's done many, many things, but this has always stuck with me. Another world is not only possible, she is on her way. And on a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. That is like what we're doing. We're tapping in, we're noticing ourselves and like the world around us. You said you love nature. Nature is such a grounding, beautiful space. I don't know about you, but like I got trees outside of my window, and there's like, just seeing the wind blow through. It's like calming and soothing.
I have like a pet bird that they don't know they're my pet outside. And
Oh,
and I every time I see him, at first when I saw him, I was driving, and we have chickens for some reason. Up our neighbors like to keep chickens or whatever. And so this bird, I was like, what bird? Because the bird had so much authority. And I was like, okay, eagles in here. So it has to be a hawk, but what kind? It was a chicken hawk. And I said, oh my gosh, those poor chickens, they better go home because they're about to be dinner, literally. And so his name, it turned out it was the Cooper hawk. And I said, well, your name's gonna be Cooper. So anytime I see him flying around, I was like, they got my pet bird. Like, oh my gosh. And he's in the yard or just looking around. So it really brings me great joy to just be outside and see him. And I'm like, okay. And I know it's the same bird. I don't know how I know that, but I just know that it is. And okay, this is my pet bird, but he's
I love that. I love that so much.
yeah. I have
Yeah.
a pets that they don't know because I love animals. My I call her my foster mother. She doesn't like animals. She had a gecko in her garage, and I used to talk to that gecko, and he would just sit right there and he would listen. So I was like, get near each other because I, but I was one day she killed him. I said, why'd y'all
Oh
kill
no.
him? And they had this little thing about me because I loved animals and I used to sit outside all the time. So they never had animals come to their house until I came because I would just sit outside. So they said, Janae, your cat is here. You need to come pick it up. I never fed it, but they were just like, every time you come over here, we have all these animals come. And I was like, because they know I'm here and we have excellent conversations. Some of them really do. Yeah.
Yes,
I love
I love that. I am on the same like wave. I'm the person that when I go outside, if I see the birds or the squirrels or I'm on a trail, like I'm like, hey, how are y'all doing? Like talking to them, making little like sounds back, which is just, yeah, it's so connecting. And, maybe not for somebody else, right? They may be like, animals are not my thing or whatever, but like finding your thing and being like, that's something that like brings me joy, like, and connection. Again, like it can look like so many different things. And yeah, like including with animals. I also like to sing back with the birds sometimes. Like,
yeah.
do you ever do that?
Actually, I kind of narrate their lives. Like, we have some birds out front, and they are just hefty, like big. And I said, so we need to stop feeding them. They are just getting there. So there was this one big bird, and I said, how does he even fly? Like, can you even fit on the branch because of the amount of bird seeds? So I was like, okay, this bird particularly, he just like has a briefcase. He looks like he has a nice suit, and he's just going to work. Like he's that bird. So I always like to just narrate their little lives or have a little love story. Two birds might be pecking or kissing. I'm like, oh, and it might be a bluebird and a cardinal. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is so amazing. So I do stuff like that. But other than that, I don't think I'll sing back to them unless they sing to me, talk to me, be opposed to it because I would feel very honored. So I would just hope no one's around. But I do so.
Well, it can be such a healing thing too. Like again, like reclaiming our like voice in the terms of like literally and figuratively, like, and the power of sound and those vibrations. And again, just I don't always care if it's like in key or like, totally like nothing like what they're saying. I'm just like, oh, this feels good just to like release. And what I hear with you too is a lot of like creative energy and imaginative energy. And that's so important when we're talking about our wellness too. Being able to have little outlets and spaces like that allow our minds and bodies and spirits to sort of engage in the world in that way. And it has, positive effects on, we can feel it in our well-being, like in our bodies, like we're getting feel good, releases going on in our brains and stuff as well. So
Definitely.
yeah, I love that. So when you're thinking about too, I wonder like, acknowledging like where you're at, like all these wonderful achievements, and acknowledging like we're on this path of healing and self-growth and self-actualizing and calling in all the things that we want for ourselves and like areas we want to grow, and cultivate, like, I wonder, like, what are some of the things that you're, thinking about for yourself?
Well, one of the things that and why this health journey for me right now is so important is because my end goal ever since I was probably 3, I can remember wanting this. I want to get married, I want to have a family. And with this particular health situation going on, you know, I had to come to a realization, would I actually be okay with not having kids? Or
Mm.
and I always said that when I had dreams about having a family, whether I could have kids did not matter to me. I had already planned to take children up off the streets and have them live in my house and give them the best life and hoping that they go on and create the best dreams or goals that they ever wanted to have. And so I realized recently that my personal life is kind of a mess. And not in a mess that it's disastrous. It's a mess in as I feel like I have boxes in my personal life that I have not unpacked yet. And
Mm.
I don't even know what those boxes are, but I can I can look in that zone and see that I have so many bits and pieces, and all in my personal zone that I've yet to unpack or take out. And and exploring, what I want in my personal life, how I want to build that, what kind of life I want it to be, what kind of person I want to have beside me. I'm sorting through the lies and the truths about who I really am, and be able to have a sturdy foundation on how I want to build those principles in my personal life. So that is has been a big stressor for me, because I feel like I know who I am, but anything personal seems so wrong to me because I was never given that. I was not raised to have my own life. I was raised to take care of other people. I wasn't raised to go out and get my own apartment. I was not even raised in a household unit. I was, like I said, I was raised in the hospital, in the system. I didn't have a mother or father who protected me. I didn't have anyone who showed me the ropes. I had to go out and plug in so much wrong information, or just took what I know. And now that I'm in this position, I think that's what makes me so scared that I'm not capable, because I know that I don't have the tools that somebody else may have growing up with those privileges that I did not. And so now I don't even know which way to go, as far as, just having a partner, sexual stuff. Do I want to have children? Adopting, because the world's changing, but I'm also changing too. So,
Mm,
I'm like, I know what I want. I know who I am. But now I'm sorting through truths. I'm sorting through lies. I'm sorting through views, adversity. I'm sorting through so many things. And, those, I can see those boxes are still just sitting there unpacked, and they may pile up. So it's just interesting to see how my life is going to go. I'm really wondering. I think my main focus right now is my personal life, how I want that to go, how I want it planned, the foundation I want to have, just paving the way for that. And that's scary to me because I've never been in a personal zone by myself. I'm always in somebody else's personal zone, or someone's telling me how to live, in my personal zone. Now I don't have either. So now I'm learning that as well. And it's very scary.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, what I hear is, it's new still in many ways. Like, so this is sort of, again, like a new transition and part of your journey. And I think that's why your story is so important to show, just despite all of that and those very real things that are still going on, like here you are, and I hear too when you were saying like those when support systems look different, like when some people have family or other things to fall back on, and now being in a place of like more independence and like being able to decide for yourself, like all of that, but like knowing like, well, what if something happens? I don't necessarily have this or that to fall back on, but like, and I empathize with that a lot, because I don't either. And it's always been like, well, what? But like our support systems, like we said earlier, it's easy for us to sort of be like, but like, again, like you shared, I mean, you got the support group, therapy, rekindled relationships, and things of that nature. And an embodiment of you, just, and boxes, like sometimes things stay in a box and or they can be put in that box and come out later or whatever. We kind of, again, going back to meeting ourselves like in the moment.
I'm so
Oh no, it's okay. Meeting ourselves in the moment. And I think that it's beautiful to be able to have, again, like, compassion for ourselves and see like there are things that we can still want for ourselves, dream and envision and yearn for, that we're just, we're working on cultivating that now by getting more clear, about those relationships and our relationship to those roles and things and wants, and being able to see how that takes shape, because we are constantly transitioning and transforming and evolving, but I hope that you get all of those wonderful things that you want, and I'm excited to hear and see that growth, because you will do it, I think.
So much.
And on your own terms, right?
Right, definitely on my own terms.
How you want it. That is so beautiful. So I just love that. Yeah. I know. I mean, that's something I reflect on too. I'm in a new transition, of right at the height of the pandemic, went through a breakup with my partner of 5 years, and then all this other stuff shifted and changed, and I've stepped into some new roles and callings, and I don't know all of the answers yet. I know how I'm going to keep showing up, and I know that I have an idea of what it looks like, but I'm still painting that vision. I'm still adding to it, maybe taking away a little bit here or there, but I am bringing that vision into life every day by showing up. And the biggest part of how we show up in all of that I've been continuously reminded of is, again, that relationship to ourselves. The more that we strengthen and heal and be, authentically us, those things come a little bit more easier, because we, our confidence, our self-esteem, everything else grows with that too. It's oh, okay, yeah. But it's a journey for sure. There's natural human things, longings and so
It's definitely a learning experience, and I'm very happy that I got to come on here today and speak of that, because it's good to have this.
It's good for me. I'm so grateful, and again, for all the people who tuned in, I'm sure that they were able to take pieces of this as well, and it seemed like it resonated for a few people, and I thank everybody who was on today with us and joining in the comments, and I'm really excited to see where your journey goes and my journey and all of us out there. I'm really excited for all the great stuff happening at PRN. Again, there are so many classes, a little bit of something for everybody. So hopefully you'll be able to tune into some of those things. And I know I try. Again, that balance though, right? We can't do it all, but please, if you have the time, definitely check out, sign up, watch it live or come back to it later, like it, share it, all those things, because again, we're building community and doing this, by having these conversations and sharing them out there, even if only one person, sees that, and that's all it takes, right? When we reflect on our journey, despite all those hardships and adversities and that pain, the people that met us with that kindness and compassion, and that kept it real with us, I don't know about you, but yeah, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be the same person I am today without that help of, like you said, it's like a deep inner work, but also, again, a sense of community. And I hope that, like you said earlier too, to echo your vision of what it sounded like to me was, yeah, communities growing in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And these spaces becoming more and more common, you know, where we can have these kind of a shift in our cultural narrative of, like, you know, taking away all the stuff that doesn't work and just like, here it is, and having strengthening the supports and lifting up stories like yours, stories like mine, and all these people out there that have so much wisdom.
Definitely.
And that I've been through, yeah, a lot. Well, how do you feel, Janae?
I feel much better. I feel like my soul is flying. I feel I'm better and a happier and lighter place than I was before I started. So I'm very grateful for this platform and this chat conversation.
Oh, that made my heart do like a little dance when you're like saying that. I was like, inside. I was just like, it felt so good. And I feel that too. And I hope y'all feel that out there with us. So as we kind of wrap up, I want to share a space for you if there's anything on your heart or mind that you want to leave people with, or, you know, just any thoughts for the day, or maybe not.
Well, I would definitely say for people to keep trying. It's hard, and I think the most thing that's on my heart is to love yourself and love other people. You know, always try to have peace with people. Always have kindness in your heart, no matter if the person's nasty to you. You know, just try to leave on a peaceful note, and knowing that your kindness definitely changes the way that they can look at things. Nobody can be nasty to kindness for long. And I will say that it took kindness and, like you say, keeping it real and just having a stern voice that got me here. So kindness definitely changes someone's heart and definitely opens them up.
I love that. So I think I'm just gonna leave it there, because those are beautiful words, and the medicine in that is so important. So I hope that I know it was like a balm for my heart. So I hope that it was for everyone else out there. And thank you for sharing that, Janae. Everybody, thank you for being here. Again, this class, Focus on Wellness in 2021, is every Wednesday at 1 p.m. live. Yeah, like it, share it. If it speaks to you, yeah, drop a line in the chat. But yeah, and check out the calendar, and feel free to call our warm line if you want to talk to any of us on there that are out there to, yeah, be a warm heart and, yeah, a compassionate listener. And I love that. Keep trying, like Janae said, and showing up and having that kindness and compassion. So until next time, we will see you all later.
Yep. Y'all have a great day.
Bye, everybody.